What makes a good horror film to you?
I think it's down to the sound.
It's not a divine or exact known science, but I think that sound is the key element that makes a horror film.
Like tension building.
I like it when there's like a build-up, story, stuff like that.
Makes a good horror film, has to be scary.
It has to like get you on the edge of your seat and stuff like that.
A horror film has to be unpredictable.
It has to be scary but not too gory, because then that just overkills it. And tense but original.
I think it's got to have a lot of tension. Jump scares, I think, are always important. I think that's the main thing that gets people. A decent, if it's going to have like a monster, I think it's got to be like a decent like horror creature, something original usually helps. Yeah, things like that.
Ever wondered what the first horror film is? That was The Devil's Castle, one of the oldest horror films. However, not everyone knew it as the first. The most popular known one that people remember is Dracula.
Now that you have learned what you have learned, it would be well for you to return to your own country.
Dracula wasn't like how he was portrayed in the films compared to how he looks like in the books. He wanted to make him look like how he wanted Dracula to look like. However, by doing this, it set a cultural impact to make everyone think that's what he actually looks like. There was also the 1958 Dracula. This is still a horror in the sense of them showing blood, and as it was in colour, the blood was more highlighted. However, if you look more into it in the film, there is more sexual, and the bite resembles intercourse. Do you like horror films, and why?
I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of horror films, but I do enjoy them. If it comes kind of together with the whole event, watching it together with my friends, I wouldn't necessarily watch them alone, although I have sometimes watched horror films alone. But I think the main point of horror films is to kind of watch it together with your friends, with other, your mates along, and make like a whole event, evening watching horror films. And usually, if we do watch horror films, then we talk a lot in them, so it doesn't always become as suspenseful as probably to be. But it depends again on the horror films. If you watch like a slasher film or like a psychological thriller. But yeah, I'd say I enjoy them, and the older I get, the more I kind of want to watch them and enjoy them, I think. I wasn't really that into them when I was younger, but I'm probably a lot more into them now than I was before.
What do you think horror films will be like in years to come?
I don't really see them changing massively. I think the difference could be maybe with like the introduction of the virtual reality glasses. Maybe they'll start making more of those kind of horror films, and it will become even more independent kind of experience where you put yourself a virtual reality goggles, you watch, and you kind of are part of the horror film. But other than that, I think it's a genre that's kind of popular enough to just keep going as it is. There's different types of horror films as well to really go into it, I suppose. But I think it's, on the other hand, though, probably, more CGI in the future, so they will become more maybe visually, kind of more of a spectacle visually, maybe kind of more scary in that sense that the creatures or the monsters or whatever will become kind of more unrealistic, or in the same way, more realistic, like stuff that's completely out of ordinary can become reality in CGI and still look like reality. Like stuff be made so realistic, believe it's real. So in that regard, I think they might become more realistic, even hyper realistic. Sure. But they're doing fine now as well. I mean, practical effects and everything, they can achieve things that you never kind of consider being fake.
It's alive. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
This is what I am.
It's like
This film really did put a shame to how Frankenstein is portrayed, and the fact that this has already happened, then it makes a shame on what is going to happen on the next monster.
I haven't seen that particular film, but from other stuff, I mean, I know Jungle Book isn't really a horror film, but you can kind of judge from that nowadays they're very brave in making stuff CGI and not worrying about, having real things to make it look real. I think in the same in the horror films. I can't just on top of my head think of one recent that I've watched, but in with regards to monsters, I mean, there's a lot of monster films coming up soon. I think the Universal Studio is doing this whole new franchise on monsters, so they're going to re-release a lot of monster films in the near future, starting with the Mummy franchise. It's going to be interesting to see what they've done, to make it different, to make it more new or modern. The old ones was fine. Now they're doing a new stuff. But I imagine, it's more CGI, more original effects that will probably contribute to the look of it being more real. And I mean, that's like you said, I Frankenstein. I think that was very kind of CGI, but again, I never saw that film, so I can't really judge on it. But at the same time, there's a lot of independent horror films still get made and use a lot of practical effects. Because I think in the bigger kind of film industry scope, horror film genre is probably one of the genres that still prefer to use practical effects and kind of practical makeup effects and prosthetics and different body casts and stuff like that. That they really appreciate the practical effects on it. So I think that's one genre and film style that really contributes to keeping the practical effects going.
Do you have a favourite horror film and why?
The Walking Dead. I like it because it's scary and yeah.
I like Unfriended because it really connects with people because it's all about Facebook and stuff and Skype.
I like Saw because it's a proper story and there's games, stuff like that.
Possibly Insidious because it's really scary and it's like when you go to sleep after you're just always thinking about it. Then like when you switch the lights off you just run and hide.
I like... I don't know. I don't really watch too many horror films because they scare me too much. I quite like The Conjuring. I'll watch that one.
Walking Dead, so it's like people will try and predict what character's going to die next, but it's unpredictable. Can't sum it up.
Favourite horror film or series probably got to be like the Paranormal Activity series. I like them because I think they feel kind of like real, if that makes sense. They say that they're like found footage and all that, but you don't know if it's real or not. But I think the way it's filmed is good and things like that, and the actual things that happen in it, and the story as well. It's got a good story behind it.
Favourite horror would have to be, I'm going to say Jeepers Creepers. Only because there's, after finally watching that in my teen years, there was a huge sense of accomplishment of me getting over that, because I tried watching it once as a child, but I got about 5 minutes in and turned it off and didn't touch it again for nearly a decade.
I quite like Scream, and then I like the classics like Halloween, and then I like the new Evil Dead as well.
Horrors have developed so much, But the most important thing that has changed horrors is the characters. I am talking about the monsters because they are what make the film scary. However, some directors have decided that making them differently to how they used to be is a good idea.
Hello?
What are you, really? I need blood to live.
It's the only way to fight what's coming.
And delve deep into the unthinkable.
These films are all different with the way that they present the monsters. This is because the audience have changed so much and they decide to change the way that they see monsters. If we carry on at this rate, then the future of horror will change. Even the monsters will change. This could be to something really weak and make people laugh at the fact that they are no longer scary. Whatever happens, trying to make the audience trying to weep themselves.
Anger becomes rage.
I had the wolf in me.
So did Nina.
Please stop.
These simple planned programs have ruined the effect of monsters and horror, and made creatures feel love. However, this has been happening for a while, and as a lot of films involve love now, horror is the one program that is much love, and that is it.
Look at it, all gnawed on by this filthy, disease-bearing, motherless, poxy bastard!
This is a program that really gives you a spine, particularly because it is graphical and it involves blood in ways that you can't be done. It is mainly thankful to Greg Nicotero, who was the genius behind makeup, to really make you hide behind your covers. What is horror to you in one word?
Fear.
Tense.
Scary.
Exhilarating.
Frightening.
Scary.
Horrifying.
Anticipation for me.
Gripping.
Thrilling.
Exaggerated.